and he slips something into my drink, I deserve that?
No. Your ass was supposed to get up and tell the next day.
Did I see you with Dr. Umar in Africa?
Oh. Yeah, he said he want two wives.
Okay.
Or one that I'm really proud of is I have a program at the junior college that I graduated from, and it serves underprivileged youth. Have more integrity or be about that life. Yep, I did it. It's whatever. I did what I had to do to get to the top.
Everybody checking for me, so I ain't got no choice but to prove that I ain't gonna fold under pressure. I'm just doing what I do. This is for everybody pulling for me. I'm a make a believer to you.
Hi, you might remember me from Making the Band 3 Season 2. Previously on Storytelling with Dominique Renee. I gotta bring this back around because I heard you say a couple minutes ago that you are keeping Diddy in your prayers.
Yes. And then turn around later on and be the victim. When you made the choice because you wanted to be on TV, because you wanted to have a hit record, because you wanted to ride in them limos, because you wanted to be at the Met Gala, because you wanted to wear red bottoms, because you wanted to hang with P. Diddy.
But does that mean you got what you deserved? Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying you got what you deserved, but you made a choice, and now these are the consequences.
So does that mean I can't be a victim if I make a choice? If I made the choice to get with some, like you said, if I'm in entertainment and I see, I don't know, I ain't gonna use Diddy's name or Jay-Z. I ain't trying to give myself.
He's so powerful. I get it.
And I see somebody, right? And I decide I am going to go after this person for my gain. Does that mean I can't come to harm by that person? I can't feel trapped by that person. I can't be in a traumatic situation for that person, with that person.
I feel like in life, God gives us options. Some things you can't get around because you know how they say things are already premeditated, it's already planned out your life goal. But I also feel like God puts us in positions as human beings to be able to be right here and say, I'm gonna go this way or I'm gonna go that way. Now I'm speaking from my own
way
experience.
that you don't agree with. That's what I'm asking you. Like
I'm saying for me, because I'm gonna use me as a real live example. And this is what I love about me is that I've been in those positions. I've been in those rooms. I was working with P. Diddy.
But I don't want you to use you. Hold on. I don't want you to use you.
But I'm talking about me.
But wait, let me because what I'm trying to get to is empathy. And when you focus on you, you can't think about the next person. So respectfully,
okay.
Can I ask you to imagine your child? Because Cassie's got a mama. I want you to imagine your child. You done raised her up to be a black queen and to go in a certain direction. I'm sure of that. I saw, nobody was here, but I saw your dynamic with her before we started filming. You love your baby girl. It's very clear. The way you speak to her, the way, the names you call her like that. It's very clear that you have raised your child in love. Your child makes a poor decision. This is what I'm trying to get you to. Get over the hump of don't make the poor decision, because that's what people do, right? Your child, for an example, and God forbid, of course,
there's consequences,
right?
Period. If you drive, you going to jail.
So hold on, because let me get there. So your child makes a poor choice in your eyes, right? Because in your opinion, let's say you saying, girl, I want you going this direction. I don't want you going in that direction. And she comes home to you and says, Mom, I know you said not to get with Diddy because this was going to happen to me. But Mom, it happened in a way that I didn't and we can agree that even though she went in a direction you didn't want her to, she definitely didn't think she was going to get harmed, right? Even if we warned them. So, Mom, look, I know you said don't go in that direction, and I went in that direction, but I got hurt really badly. I'm not gonna put any specifics on hurt because I ain't speaking nothing negative over your child in real life. You know,
Yeah.
some harm came to me.
Yeah.
As a mother of that child that made the choice, she made a choice for sure, but she came to real harm as a result that she didn't expect. She got some things she didn't expect in this choice. What is your message to her as your child?
So let me just say, because I'm tying it into the topic that we focusing on, how this even came up.
Entertainment.
Yeah. What I'm saying is, when you're presented with the option and you make that choice anyway, if somebody says, because like I'm saying, it's happened before. Me and my daughter is crazy because we just kind of had this kind of talk today. Too bad she
Wow.
don't feel probably presentable enough to get on camera, but I talked to her just like that. But at the end of it, you know what I tell her? I'ma love you anyway, what I told you, unless he put his hands on you. He put his hands on you, we got a problem. But people gonna do what they want to do, no matter what. And as children, sometimes you gotta let them go out there and bump their head and do whatever. But like I literally told her just today, when you come back, 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna tell you I told you so. So if you continue forward, this is my advice, and this is what I'm saying to you. This is the way I see it, because I've been around. I'm ganged up. I know what's happening. From what I can see, I told her just like this. When you're making a decision about people, how you vote for the president, how they decided for you to be the school principal, you had to lay out your credentials, and then people had to say, we vote for her. And this is what we're going to do. So when you lay out all the options and then you make a choice to say, this is what we're going for, because it was some about her personal life.
Y'all, if you are into this, you gotta like and you gotta subscribe and you gotta share. So the buttons down below, get the button in. Subscribe so you can get the notifications and keep seeing this show, Storytelling with Dominique Renee.
But I gave her my opinion on what it was, and it wasn't the same. But I did say, I'm going to still love you. And I'm going to say that to any of the women or whatever. But I do think when you're saying my daughter, the problem is, and this is where after making the band, I went and got my degree in psychology, is that it's a lot of lost people out there. Everybody wasn't raised like me. And I want to shout out my parents that raised me with confidence, that told me I was a strong Black woman, to told me to fear nothing but God, that told me like I couldn't even talk on the phone to boys when I was in high school. So my mom and dad was each other's first sex partners. So I'm built on love. I'm built on that. So I do realize that everybody is not like me or going to be like me. But this new generation of entertainment that we in is going too far. It's over sexualized. It's anything goes. We walking outside. If it sound like I'm judging, it is what it is. We walking outside in lingerie. I don't necessarily condone that. I don't knock you for doing it, but I'm just saying the things that we're doing and the way that we're carrying ourselves, it is what it is. Like your grandmother would be like, what's going on? We got to have more respect for ourselves as women, as men. I'm not going to just say as women, but I'm a woman speaking on a woman's behalf. But what I'm saying is, when you're put in a position, on God, somebody told me, a top celebrity that could put me on, won't say his name, hey, slide through to my hotel tonight. I see what you're doing. This was after making the band. Slide through to my hotel tonight. I'm going to make you famous. Straight up. Now, I could have went to the hotel and did whatever he said, whatever we was going to do at a hotel, right? But I'm like, I'm not coming to your hotel. You just proposition me. I would have rather you try to fill up on me and really get with me on some really, take me out to dinner or something. But don't tell me to come to your hotel to make me famous. Because now, in my mind, I don't want to make it that bad. I don't want to have sex in front of the camera for $1 million or anything. I'd rather do it to a broke person because I really felt you like that. So I want to continue to build my career on not judging or not having, victim shaming, but giving those women the confidence to know you don't have to do that. You don't have to compromise for $1. And right now, everything is the bag, the purse, the Chanel's, the red bottoms, and all of that. And people, If I would have went to his hotel, I would have knew what it was. And if I would have did
Yeah.
it, maybe he would have did it for me. I don't know. And the sad part to me
Yeah.
about Diddy is that all the people that call me to do the interviews, everybody that's calling me is like, girl, you sure he ain't done nothing? Girl, you could be getting cashed out. I could say anything I want to say about P. Diddy right now, and people will believe it. If I said he did this, he did that, he did. Do you know you could too? You could say whatever you want to say. Me especially, because you know what? That's why I didn't make it to the next season. I could say anything and be getting paid right now. So thank God, making money and getting to the bag and losing my integrity is not important to me.
Yeah.
And I don't
I
want to
will.
come off like I'm judging or don't have empathy, but I want to say to anybody that's trying to make it in the industry, that's trying to do your thing, when you get those offers, have more integrity or be about that life. Yep, I did it. It's whatever. I did what I had to do to get to the top. But don't do
Yeah.
what you do and then get up to that level and then say, woe is me. That's all
Well,
I'm
girl,
saying.
look, I will say this. I think
You feel me?
we don't agree on this, and that's okay because
Don't
we
agree that
look.
you shouldn't compromise
No,
yourself.
listen. What that's because
You
that's
don't
not the
agree?
argument. The whole time that isn't the argument that I've been making. I feel like what you just said. You
That's
said a
what
few
I'm
minutes
saying.
ago that
You
most of
shouldn't
the
do something
world.
you don't want to do and then
I agree,
cry
but
wolf.
people make mistakes, and it doesn't mean that they get what they deserve. I don't subscribe to that idea.
How
I'm
many
not saying that.
mistakes?
You said what?
How many 10 years of red carpets? How many mistakes are we making
See,
here?
that's listen, we gonna agree to disagree because we sit on opposite sides of this completely. I don't want to pretend like I know the dynamics of anybody's relationship. I know the ins and outs
Yeah.
of who did what, but I just look at my own life and I don't live the life that these people are living. And I think about some of the poor choices I made or mistakes I made in my life. And if someone held me to this idea that like you make a poor choice, and so yes, you have to be
But
accountable for
is it
your
a
actions. And
mistake if you go on with it for 10 to 12 years? Is that a mistake
I
or is that a
can't, I can't,
choice?
I can't say that. But what I can say is that there are certain things, regardless of people's choices, that are illegal that nobody should have to deal with, right? So when you said that you said there are a lot of people in the world that are lost right now, right? And I actually don't disagree with you, but I don't think that those people then deserve something negative, like okay, well if you're gonna go that way and you're not gonna be in Christ or in Allah or in anything like that, then whatever happened to you
But you
happened to
have
you.
to be accountable though. You can't just continue to be like years and years. You have to be accountable. That's why people listen to
But we
motivational
but
speakers.
for
That's
me
why
it's not a
people choose.
but for me it's not a conversation about accountability. When you talk about somebody, if I don't know, like I'm not disagreeing with the idea that if I make a choice, I have to live with the consequences of my choice. I'm not saying that. I'm
Right.
talking about victims and harm. And for me, anybody who is victimized, no matter how much money they have, no matter how poor of choices they've made, they should not be shamed for being victimized. And I'm gonna give you an example that's within entertainment, right?
But I don't feel like I'm
If
shaming. I'm just saying what it is.
no, I'm saying I put it in the category of shaming because you're tying accountability in with someone saying they've been victimized. When you said what you said about people calling up and saying people could make money, absolutely. Are there folks out there who are making up stories? I'm sure. Like, I'm not saying there are not people
Well,
in the
let's keep
world.
it on the P. Diddy level though, because what I'm saying is now I'm seeing, and I use Bill Cosby too, because women have got on the stand and said, I made the choice to do this because I wanted to elevate my career. So I want to keep it right there. A woman that's just getting beat and she don't have nowhere to live and all that is different. You're in Hollywood and entertainment, going to somebody's hotel at midnight and doing drugs and doing whatever. And you say, well, I didn't say because I wanted to get that role. I wanted to be on TV.
So this
That's
is
what
what I'm
I'm really
saying. So let's
focused
so
on.
let's use that as an example. And then we're gonna
That's
have to move
mainly
on
what
because
I'm
girl, we're
saying.
gonna be on
In
this all night.
entertainment. I
What I'm
know.
saying is
Because I just feel like
if I said, yes, I'm going to Bill Cosby's house And maybe I plan to do something with him or whatever because of the fact that, I want to get ahead in life. And he slips without my knowing something into my drink. I deserve that?
No. Your ass was supposed to get up and tell the next day and say, you know what? He slipped something in my drink last night. He slipped something in my drink last night.
I'm just saying that for...
No. I like how you
so
said that.
hard.
You're not
It's
supposed
so
to step in
hard.
the next morning and say, Lord, but I'm gonna get that roll on the movie.
You're taking that power dynamic. You're taking that power dynamic out of it, and that's what makes it hard for me. Because
that's what I want people to understand. Don't give a human being that much power over your life.
But it's not about giving. It's
on a TV show.
Yeah, girl, we don't agree, and
but
that's okay.
No.
That's okay.
This is it. Because
we don't agree on this because
if she slips something in my drink, I'm waking up the next morning, and I hope that anybody else would.
But this I'm saying, you keep going back to what you would do, and I'm talking about everyone and not just myself. It's not just about the choice that I would make. If somebody rapes me and I don't tell, it don't mean I didn't get raped. There could be a million reasons why I'm not telling. So it could be my fear. It could be the shame, and it could be people saying some of the things that you're saying right now that keep me from admitting that, yes, I made the choice to go to that person's house. Yes, I didn't listen to my mama. Yes, I did go over there with the intentions of having sex. But then when I said stop, he didn't stop. Or then he slipped something in my drink and I was passed out and I don't even know what we did. But then how the hell I'm going to come out the next day and say it when people going to be like, well, that's what the hell you get for going to his house. That's exactly the point that I'm making.
I'm not saying that's what you get. I'm saying if you decide after getting raped, after getting slipped a Mickey, you wake up woozy and you're out of it. Don't get up and say, I'm not saying nothing because you know what? Now I don't get to be on Bill Cosby's show. Now I don't get to be the anchor on NBC. Now I'm not making the
And
thing.
All I'm saying is
that's
it's not
point.
fair.
Don't compromise yourself
when you
to
don't
make it to
know when you don't know the ins and outs of people. You know about Malika, which is why you can speak with such conviction about what you would and wouldn't do. But we don't know that about everybody. We don't know all the dynamics that go into those kinds of decisions. There are things, it's hard. It's hard, but it's okay. We gonna move on because we ain't about to get to the center on this, and we ain't even cover all the questions. Crazy. What I will say is I'm not here to discredit. I don't want to take away from the idea that there are people who lie, that there are people who try to get ahead, I'm not saying that. I just do not believe in any form of victim shaming, especially when it comes to victims who are of the marginalized group, right? So when you talk about men and women, there's a power dynamic there that has existed for centuries. When you talk about the queer community, when you talk about black people and white people, right? I'm not saying that white people could never be victimized in some way, but the power dynamic in our racist country around a black person saying I had this, racist experience, when people say, and for me, if there's evidence to me that someone has lied, we got to do something about that. There has to be accountability about that. But this culture of just not believing victims, or of having this attitude that if you make certain decisions, then maybe, what happened to you is really on you. Even if
I would like for people, if you get raped or you get slipped in Mickey,
horrible.
Even if you don't want to say nothing, I will hope that if you see this, that you don't take it as victim shaming, that you take it as empowerment, courage, and strength to not allow somebody to do that to you and think that you have to stay to move to the next level. Because when I am saying this again, I want to reiterate, I'm talking about Hollywood. So if you feel like nobody's going to believe me, I'm just saying to anybody that might hear this, because it's so many people willing to do whatever to make it, right? Don't let somebody slip a Mickey, rape you, and then even if you feel like you don't want to say nothing, by all means, please don't work with that person no more. Even if you think nobody's going to believe me, don't wake up in the morning, put on your blazer, and go
You
work for
keep
the
doing
person
that.
that
You
just
keep
raped you.
doing that, but you don't understand the dynamics. And neither do I. I
I
don't want to make it
don't,
seem
because
like
I don't want to make it that
right, but
bad. I
when
don't
if
know
you
money
don't
that bad.
if you don't understand the dynamics, it's really hard to
But what is that dynamic? If you
judge.
do that, if you get because it's the person
So I
has
mean the
power.
dynamic. So for example, let's go back to the principal example. You just said we talked about if one of my staff members, if I put them in a compromising position and I use my power in the wrong way, and they said, "Oh, Dominique wants me to compromise my morals. I ain't doing that. I'm out of here." And they lose their job, but they got kids and they got bills and they got da 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 da. Like those things matter, and that's just one example. But like my whole point is it's just not as black and white as I feel like it's coming off in this moment. To turn to somebody who you don't know and you don't know their dynamics, and they may not have been raised in a community that uplifted them the way yours did, and just say
That's why I'm
no,
hoping that I'm
just
empowering you. Don't get raped
just
and go
do
work for the
that.
person.
I'm just saying there's a lot more dynamics that can go into a person. You know how much therapy somebody might need to overcome their trauma to be able to say no to somebody because they were abused by a parent, or because they like, and again, everything I'm giving is like these one-off random examples. I say that to say there's a million reasons. There's a million reasons why someone could be victimized and not come forward. And that victims come in all shapes and sizes and colors, right? Victims can be also gold diggers. Victims can also be someone who's trying to take advantage or get over, but victims could also be the opposite.
That is true. But again, I'm saying, as a victim, if anybody is listening, even with your job, I've been in that position in the corporate world, and anybody know me, I don't play that. I just got let go of a corporate gig because who you talking to. But I have faith, and I know you're saying but that's who I'm talking about. And a lot
Yeah.
of people used to come up to me at work and say, damn, I really love the strength that you have, because I don't put that much power in people. Because if
Yeah.
you're the principal, I could be the principal. So if I'm
Yeah.
standing on business about something, usually if I do, I feel like I have a reason to do that, and you fire me, so be it. I feel like I have enough faith and enough uh, power in my mind with the God that I serve that I'm gonna be okay, because I'm stepping out and I'm standing on business. So even if you fire me, if you do that, and I think for me, much as I love hustling and getting money, I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna still keep getting it, but I'm never. And it's not. I know I'm saying me, and you know it's crazy. You told me this, and if my auntie sees this video, she told me that. She said she literally just told me you need to have more empathy. You
Empathy.
need to you need to understand that everybody is not as strong as you, and everybody is not okay. Fine, but I hope that I'm not. I don't want to come off as you ain't. I don't want to come off as that. I hope that I could come off as damn. I want to have that strength. You know what? The guy that raped. But hope somebody see this and they say, you know what? I'm quitting that job tomorrow, because I'm not gonna let them punk me no more. I'm not gonna let them talk to me and do me any kind of way. That's all I'm saying. And as it relates to the entertainment industry, by all means, make it there with your true talent or whatever you have to do. Don't compromise yourself. And I don't want you to see this as shaming. I want this to be, you came on there and you blew. You sang that song, and you did what you had to do because you're a real good singer and your talent got you to where you were. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So that's
I
my
will
main
say,
point.
I don't know how anybody else is reading it. I am absolutely receiving it as shaming, and I was upfront with you about that.
You just
And I
said that
think
way.
that I think that I think we both, did the work that we could do to get the other
Yeah.
person to see our side of it,
Yeah.
and
Well,
we
you saying
just
that,
don't
but I'm just saying
exist.
don't compromise your values to make it to the next level. So I don't
I
know how
know,
that's
I know,
shaming.
I know.
Is that
I,
shaming? Don't compromise your values to make it to get money,
I,
to have a job, to do things as if God ain't gonna have your back, or your faith that you believe in, or prayer is not gonna work for you. Whatever you have to dig in deep, whatever it is,
I'm gonna
how is
say
that
this.
shaming?
me and your auntie, we on the same page, girl. That's all I got
When she
for
said
you.
she gonna be
That's
like,
all I got.
look,
Tell
the
auntie
final
call me. Okay,
baby,
tell her.
the final
Tell
edit is,
auntie I tried. Tell auntie I tried. Okay, but Malika is strong willed. And baby girl said what she gonna say, and she's 10 toes down on it, and I'm 10 toes down on what I believe in too, which is why I think that this was a healthy conversation. Because and here's what I will say: I think people who disagree should be able to have more conversations like this, because this is the problem with our world in general right now, is that people sit on sides of things and
they don't have
ain't even
emotional
willing to
intelligence to be
try
able to
and
talk.
try
Yeah.
and do that. So,
But I would say, as
who
we
we
move
got?
on to the next topic, because I know you
Okay.
got more stuff you want to say, my final word is, and this is all I'm really saying. So I never want, because I love my people and I want for my brother or sister what I want for myself, right? Do not compromise your values to make it. That's all I'm
But
saying, because
Malika,
I've seen it too much. That's all I'm saying. Don't do it.
it's,
Try not
it's
to.
I
Try
know, but
not
this
to
I
do
know
things
this
that
like
you don't want to do.
it's such a big statement to make it. The way you say it makes it sound so easy, and that's the thing that's hard for me, is like, I'm not disagreeing with the idea that people shouldn't compromise themselves. I don't disagree with you, but the way you say it, looking in the camera with conviction and saying don't compromise yourself, not knowing the nuances of everybody's lives and their situations, that's what's hard for me. But we said we moving on. We gonna
And I
have to
guess if
move
you
on.
got to compromise, don't try not to go later. Because for me, if I was a compromiser, I feel like the person that I am, if I was going to compromise and do things that could be viewed as the wrong choice or a mistake or whatever, I would hope that I would just be like, you know what? I knew what I was doing when I did it. That's the price that's what came with the territory. I knew that
And
when I
that right there,
took the
that
role.
is the piece for me that falls in the category of victim shaming. But we
I'm
promised
saying I
ourselves we
hope
were
that's that
moving
I would
on.
that's what I would do. I just hope that
Yeah,
if I did
yeah,
do it, that I don't know. But if it was my
yeah.
daughter, like you said, if she was getting beat on, like if that was my daughter in the hallway with Cassie, y'all probably see me on the news beating up Diddy or terrorizing his house, busting his windows, his tie. I'm crazy.
Something. Okay, so we have gone,
Moving right
girl.
along.
We done got on a tangent. Okay, we
But to stay on
were.
that, I'm keeping Diddy and everybody involved in prayer because we all can use prayer. Can the church say amen?
Yes. I'm saying that I am praying for all the real victims out there. That's who I'm praying for. And thank goodness we all have a right to pray for who we want to pray for. Now we really, girl, we keep saying we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on now.
Wait, but can I ask
Because
you this? Can I just ask you this
Malika,
before
we
we move
got
on?
it.
No, please. Because we from making the band. I just want to know because everybody that disagrees with me kind of has the same sentiment. Can you tell me, and I'm not discounting that Cassie got beat up. I'm not against a man putting his hands on a woman. What else do we know that took place? Do we know that? I'm just trying to figure out what else is it to it.
So here's what I'm gonna say to that. There is an answer to your question that I
Okay.
don't think with this platform ain't here to uplift this all this mess happening. I will say this, I don't know. When you say what do we know, I never want to lie and make it seem like I know the ins and outs of anything.
That's all I'm trying to figure out.
Have I been following the court case? Have I heard things that absolutely, Cassie aside,
Yeah.
they got grounds for this RICO. Let me be clear. And people
Okay.
need to be more, people need to look up the definition of RICO and understand how some of the evidence that is being presented falls under that category. That's what I could say. Can I speak to what the things are from my own mouth and experience? Absolutely not. I've been asked multiple times by multiple people about my own experience with Diddy. And I did not have a negative experience with Diddy. I don't have any problem saying that. I speak positively about my experience on making the band outside of some of the traumatic stuff to some of the residual stuff, because that's what it was. I know how big of an opportunity that was. I know who I was standing in front of. I know how mesmerized I was every time he complimented my talent. I will never ever deny the realities that were, and that has absolutely nothing to do with anything he may have done to someone else, because you're okay. Every pedophile, every criminal, every low down, dirty, shame person you could think of in your life got a mama that they came from and a daddy that they came from. And so there are, I have family members who I love. Exactly. I have family members who I love down, who have never brought me to harm. But did they commit a crime and bring harm to someone else? Absolutely. And to that person's family, they're a monster. And both of those things can exist. If my cousin murdered someone, that family gets to want him to rot in hell or her to rot in hell. They get to feel that because that was their experience. Does that mean that I want to see my cousin rot in hell because they murdered someone, even though we grew up together and we were like sister and brother and we did? Absolutely not. Those two worlds get to exist in my mind, but they shouldn't undercut each other is what I'm saying. So in my mind, that family who was victimized by my cousin, this is all made up, that didn't happen in my real life, but that family that was victimized, I can't rain on their parade and be like, nah, y'all, like, because of the fact that I believe that he's good in his soul and he's got all this good stuff going on and I haven't come to harm. That's the reason I can't answer your question, because just like you said, you speaking from I can only speak from my experience, right?
Exactly.
But when I hear other people speak of theirs, I don't want to discount their experiences just because they may have made choices that are unbecoming in the eyes of others. That's what I'm saying. So you letting us move on now?
Let me think about it. No, go ahead.
Come on, because girl, I done lost. First of all, girl, I done got lost up in the sauce here. Okay.
Well, you was wondering why was I praying for Diddy?
I know, and it took us to a place. It took us to a place that it sounds like we needed to go to. So so fast forward now. We were talking about when you got cut, that being a shocking thing to you. And of course, I want to know what happened next in your life. Give me all of the after for Malika. I see some of the beauty in your life happening right now just through your social media. And I would love to hear a little bit of from 2005, what happened in life after making the band and what's going on today.
Baby, first of all, I can't even believe it's been 20 years. Time goes by fast. And this is why you don't let people play with you. But
she gonna bring it back around, y'all. She gonna bring it back around and bring the point home.
Make the band, I was like, for real, because I just knew I should have. I wanted to make the band. I totally felt like I deserved it. And everybody's like, you really want to make the? Yes, I did. I wanted to go on tour. I wanted to do all that stuff. So the shock of it all was like crazy. But I can say, even though we only made whatever little money that we made, the residual money for showing up at parties, hosting, and I'm still to this day making money off making a band. So I'm thankful for that. You know what I'm saying? People still know me as Malika for making the band because I've done, some music and things like that. But just being, like you said, a fan face, people still know my face. People still quote lines from 20 years ago. So I'm just thankful that people still even notice me. I was in Walmart. My daughter was like, oh my God, I got to make sure I be combing my hair sometimes because you want to take a picture and I'm still looking a mess. But immediately after that, because I told my daughter, and you being an educator, principal, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
I just wanted to show my daughter, like, okay, I didn't make the band. I'm been close with my daughter. Now I'm going to go to school. Like, I got to do some real stuff. Prior to that, I have a license in cosmetology. I had already been doing music. I already had a CD out. So, I was doing my thing. I was with a modeling agency. I always been doing all these little things. Mm-hmm. the Levi's, the curvy size Levi's are made after my body. So I still get residuals from that, from Levi's. So I was a fit model for Levi's where I just really get paid to try on jeans. So all the curvy ones right now, I think I was on Khalees' page. I'm like, that's me. So,
Wow.
I've done some commercials and things like that. But I graduated from UC Merced and UC Berkeley. I got my degree in psychology. I received my degree in
Oh,
psychology, AA and African American studies. I was working at a high school, doing mentoring at Envision Academy, which I try to empower. I worked as a modeling coach at Barbizon. Again, when you said hustler, 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 I'm always staying busy. But my latest endeavor, or one that I'm really proud of, is I have a program at the um, junior college that I graduated from, and it's my last name, Ubaka, which means supreme wisdom, wealth, and knowledge. But the program is utilizing my brain power to attain knowledge abundantly, and
wow.
it serves underprivileged youth. People that can't afford. Some people go to school and they barely making it. They can't eat, so they get free meals, free books, and that was in 2011. And I'm so proud that the Ubaka program is still rolling. And so I'm very proud of that. In New Orleans now, I moved to New Orleans from California,
It's my
and I
favorite
have my
city.
own. So when you come,
Yeah. My
I'm
daughter's
rolling
name
out
is
sparring for
Nola.
you. I told you,
One
you
of
got
my
to come out here.
one of my daughter's name is Nola.
Wow, that's your
Yeah.
favorite for real, for real.
I ain't playing. I mean, my husband has family there. We spend a lot of time in
And you have
Louisiana,
such
and
a
I
beautiful
love it.
family. I see y'all. I
Thank you.
just adore. Like I don't know your husband, but that man love you. I could just see it all
Listen, and I
over.
love him right back. Thank
I'm
you.
telling you, I can see it.
Yeah, yeah.
But
So
we
you
have a
moved. How
store.
long ago did you move to?
10 years. 10 years
Wow.
ago, Africa
And
Love
what made
Story.
you choose New Orleans?
Well, it was that big, tall, 6'4" Mandingo warrior that I met, girl. Yeah, that's who it was. And this guy, we started a nonprofit together. We're not together anymore.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he spent off and wasn't what he needed to be. But keeping him in prayer too. But you know what? Like I say, everything happens for a reason. Like even though we didn't end up working out, so he's from Senegal. So he's like a political activist. He speaks out against, injustice that's going on in Senegal, et cetera, et cetera. He ended up getting deported. So I was that wife from America that was fighting for him and protesting on the front line
Yeah.
outside of the jailhouse and doing all of this for my man, my man, my man. And so now the people of Senegal, and I love y'all too in Senegal, not to death, for me being that supportive wife, I, know all the people in Senegal now. So fast forward, opened up a store with my business partner who's from Senegal as well, Africa Love Store in New Orleans. And he's been organizing trips to Africa for like over 20 years. So we organized trips to Africa, just got back in April. We give back to the schools. We took 55 people in April. Everybody donated to the school. We bring
Wow.
supplies and everything like that. Our next trip is Ghana. In November and December, we go back to Africa. I'm proud to say I have some land out there. So my goal is eventually to be, out there cooking my fresh fish right up on the beach, having some good conversations, telling my girl Dominique, bring the family through.
Yeah.
Y'all welcome to stay, at my
Wow.
villa.
This is
And
beautiful.
it's just been wonderful. I love, love, love going to the continent. If you haven't been to Africa, anybody that sees this,
Yeah.
I would encourage you
Yeah.
to get there
I
ASAP.
feel that. I've been twice. I've been to
Okay, so you know what's
Kenya,
up.
Kenya and Tanzania. But I mean, I want to go to every country. I
Yeah.
just, I'm so grateful. My daughters have been. My 5-year-old twins. They went
I
with
think I
us
saw you
to
guys recently.
Zanzibar. Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
And
that's right.
listen, life changing. I just, I'm with you. I'm with you on this so much.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So you are
So,
running a store,
yes,
Africa Love Store in New Orleans. You
yes.
are living in New Orleans, but also it sounds like traveling back a lot and building some, like
Traveling
doing
back a
something
lot.
with your
Yes,
land there.
yes,
It's amazing.
yes. I was originally doing vacation ownership when I came to New Orleans at first, and I never done that before. Just was a blessing. I came, I did it. I ended up being a trainer and traveling around. I was working with another company in Florida. That just ended in April, but I was literally living on the beach, but I was traveling back and forth from Florida to New Orleans. And that was just amazing. My condo was like on the beach boardwalk. So waking up in the morning, doing my prayers and meditation on the beach was just very healing for me in these last few years, you know. And I still, y'all follow my YouTube. I actually my last song that I did was dedicated to my ex-husband
I was just
being a
about to
political
ask you
prisoner.
if what's going on with music, if you've done anything, if you're
Yes.
doing anything with music currently.
Yes. So, well, I did a song called African Girl. We filmed that in Senegal. So that video is on YouTube. My other two videos was filmed here in New Orleans. One is called Show Love. It was dedicated to my grandfather who passed away like 2 months before I moved here.
Wow.
And then another song called Loving You, which I wrote that. Like, if you go and hear it, I'll send it to you when we hang
Yeah.
up. It's dedicated to my husband that was a political prisoner fighting. So you will see the guy, the whole storyline. It's in the video,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's bounced. So if you love New Orleans, you know New Orleans is all bounced
I
out.
do. I
So
do.
yeah, and it's bounced, and it was really good. It was a good dedication. I want to do some more stuff, but I feel like now with my music, like before when we were on making the band and all that, it was like I want to make it. I want to get on the charts. I want to do. It's just like I'm gonna make my music. If you like it, you like it. I'm gonna do what makes me feel good, and really what I want to do is like the proceeds from African Girl and stuff like that. I give it back to Africa. I want people to, I really want to make music that empowers, that makes people feel good, happy songs and, good vibes. You want to get up and just go to the beach when you hear my song and just feeling good. So that's going to be my next project, God willing. I've kind of been doing other things, just bought another house after selling a house and doing all the stuff, girl,
Yeah,
living
doing.
life. We ain't going to be
Now
here
let
much longer.
speaking of things you doing, let me ask you a quick question. In the vein of Pan-Africanism and power to the people, did I see you with Dr. Umar in Africa?
Oh.
The people want to know.
The people want to know. I know Dr. Umar. He came actually, and I will say, I'm pretty sure everybody knows now. I actually adore and love Dr. Umar. I love everything that he stands for. He's very tall, dark, and handsome. He's very intelligent. He's very, 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 very. No, let
That's
me
a
stop.
lot of
No,
shoulders.
can you see the smile? No, I really actually like Dr. Umar, to be honest. I
Okay.
do. But more importantly than like liking him because he's all of that, I just love the empowerment that he gives our people. And some people may not agree with everything that he says. I feel like I just see it on Instagram. Weak speakers say I feel like. So I'm trying to step up my game on that. But he hosted an event at our store. And I would say one thing that really stood out for me with him, as popular as he is, with the power, like you said, that he has, he came very down to earth, came to the store. He didn't have this Hollywood type of attitude. He showed love. He did what he had to do. So many people came. Then we had our fashion show. It was a fundraiser actually for us taking all the supplies back that we did to Senegal this April. And yeah, he said he want two wives.
Okay. Because it sounds like you in the running, sis. That's what it sounds like.
No, yeah, but yeah, Dr. Umar.
Okay. We're going to end
Peace to
on this
Pan
smile because
Africanism.
the smile is smiling right now. Now you're
Peace to
sweating.
Pan Africanism.
Let me tell you, we done had a time. I told you we were going to be on here for an hour. And girl, we done had a time.
Hour and 43 minutes, my baby.
Okay, listen. Listen. We needed this. We needed this. I am so
Because I feel like I haven't talked
grateful.
to you since the show.
I know. I was so glad when we like found each other on Instagram
Yes.
because it had been so long. I'm like,
Yes.
I'm just that's been one of the most beautiful pieces of this experience is reconnecting with
Yes.
y'all. Like
Yes.
literally just getting back in touch, hearing the different, I mean, we've all gone in so many different directions. And honestly,
Yes.
we had real fans on Making a Band, and people want to
Yes.
know. People want to know what's going on in our lives, and you've been able to come on here and share some of the beauty of your life today. I
Yes.
got the honor of seeing your beautiful daughter before we got on, and
Yes.
I'm grateful that we spent this time together this evening, and we gonna stay in touch.
Yes, I thank you for having me. I want to say I'm so proud of you, your beautiful family. I
Thank
just
you.
found out today that you're a principal. So, I know that you are there empowering, even though we agree to disagree.
Yeah.
I know your strength. Every time I see you on Instagram, you're so well spoken. You just
Thank you.
shine very radiant. And I love the mom that I see you. I love the wife. And now to know that you're a principal and a great example to many children out there. So I want to say, keep on going, my sister. And thank you for having me.
Yeah.
If you come to New Orleans, just hit me up. It's
Oh,
going down. I'm
absolutely.
rolling out the carpet for the
We
black carpet.
hanging. We
Yeah.
hanging. We hanging. There's no question. There's no question.
Yes.
So I will talk to you soon offline and hopefully see you in
Yes.
New Orleans.
Yes. And whoever watches, make sure y'all follow me
Yes.
at
Wait, what's
Malika
your,
ENT.
yeah, I was going to say it again.
So Malika, MalikaEnt. And you can find my store page through my page, but I love to connect with everyone. I love y'all. I hope I didn't offend anybody today. That wasn't my intention. It's all love, it's all good. But I thank you for us having a conversation filled with emotional intelligence and being able to keep it going. So
Listen,
stay
that was
strong, stay
honestly,
beautiful.
and I'm not, I ain't gonna sugarcoat none of it from the people. I
Yes.
I I really believe people need to be able to talk.
Yeah.
Even when they can't get there, even if they don't agree, we gotta have more dialogue and less going to opposite ends of a corner, So
Yes.
I
Yes.
appreciate you for real. And I thank you for
Yes.
being on my show.
Thank you.
All right, peace.
Peace.
I Ooh, that was something. First, there's so much that happened in that interview. Malika, that I feel like I need time to process it. First of all, I learned so much. I hope that I just got so much out of this interview, and I hope that you guys did too. But it was I think this interview, more than anything, was a lesson in tolerance for both of us, which hopefully positively reflects on others. Because if you take the entertainment world out of it, we are currently living in a climate of folks who just exist on the opposite ends of everything. And I look at the state of our world right now and I be like, yeah, I don't have the answers. I feel strongly about the things I feel strongly about, and I don't know how to fix it or how to, and the conversation I had with Malika, or the part of the conversation that seemed contentious, or I don't even know if contentious is the wrong word, where we were sitting on the opposite ends of a perspective, pushed me to engage in that way, instead of running away, disagreeing and deciding I don't want to, you don't deal with these people, or, like, yeah, I feel maybe my thoughts are not coming out clear because I really got to process it. I really got to process it for real. And it's so funny because, look, I'm a quick processor. I'm the talker. I'm the, right? Like, I do this, and I think that's a part of why you got Storytelling with Dominique Renee. But sometimes you get hit with things that are like, you gotta take some time and process. And I'm just coming away thinking about my role as a mom specifically, and how I handle my girls especially in situations where they make choices I don't agree with, when they get to that time in life, or when they, do a thing that I know will yield consequences they don't see. No matter what, especially with the way that this world treats women, I always want to be a soft place to land for the little women in my house. And my conversation tonight has me thinking more and more about that. I am so grateful that Malika joined me and that we were able to be our authentic selves, baby. Neither one of us was given no fluff, no fake. And I think it yielded something real. I keep telling y'all, ain't no story like a Dominique Renee story. And sometimes I am even shocked at how true that is. But that's what I got. That's what I got. And look, stay on the ride. Subscribe. You don't want to miss the roller coaster of a ride we go on this show. But it's a beautiful roller coaster. That's what I got. Peace.